Good morning, everybody. Just the background music until some people can arrive on the live stream. This will be about the 3 minute wait. So here we go. This is a piece I composed, played live in concert. For those of you just coming in, this is a piece that I composed, played live in concert. Just waiting for a few more to come in. So just give it another couple minutes. Again, just waiting a couple minutes before a few more people to come in. It's been a while since I've streamed, so that's why I like to give some people some time. Okay. All right, guys. So that's a piece I composed and played live in concert back back a few months ago. Okay, so what you're looking at now is my current live account of $985 in the current trades. Now they've been in for some time now. Unfortunately, first trade was entered here in this area. It shot up. I was looking for 50 pips profit. It went to 45, and then it shot back down. And then at that point, I've been in the trade for quite some time on its way down. Right now, we're seeing a lot of support down here at the bottom of the euro pound. And it already bounced once, got really close again to hitting my profit. It just needed to go another 10 pips or so. And then it shot back down, but it hit that same area of support, and then it's bouncing off it again. So we'll see how that plays out. I would imagine that at this point, this should continue to rise up, and I will hit profit fairly soon before the week's over. All right, so for those of you that are watching, I'm going to say this a couple of times. I'll say this again in maybe 10 or 15 minutes when more people show up. So you guys know that I was trading a Axie Trader account, and I showed that in my last stream. And that stream was about 2 weeks ago. It was a student of mine. It was a small account of $1,300. It was a test account, and they were eyeing me down to trade more potential accounts of theirs in the future, and much larger accounts. Now, I deleted my last video blog, unfortunately, and I felt like it was a pretty decent one with a lot of good information. I deleted it because some asshole reported me for trading on Axie Trader. And you know, it was a lesson for me. One, that I can't trust anybody, even on my streams. That there are people still watching my streams that don't like me. There's a few people that I've lost money for that have traded with me in the past, in particular on the election day. And unfortunately, those people are out to get me. So what can I do? And I deleted the video because out of protection of my student slash client, I guess. And I lost the account. I lost the account because it is against the regulation for me to trade that. Now, Why am I still pissed off about it? Uh, because somebody actually sent my blog, my video blog, to AxiTrader. They actually sent it to them in email. We went to all the trouble to send them an email with the link and telling them that I'm a U.S. trader trading the account and that you should watch this video blog. That's a lot of trouble for somebody to actually go out and do that. And the reason why I'm so pissed about it is because uh, it's this is a gray area. This kind of activity is happening all over the United States, where there's U.S. traders trading other accounts when they shouldn't be. It's a gray area in the market because it's really difficult for a broker to actually know or find out that a U.S. trader is actually trading that particular account. And even people like Nick are not that innocent in this area as well. In particular, Viper. You guys know Viper, maybe. He was the trader for Nick, and AC Brokers. Um, they were a brokerage firm that used to take on U.S. traders, and then they basically went bankrupt and had to close their U.S. Office. So they didn't allow for U.S. traders anymore. And Viper was still trading those accounts with that broker. Um, and I also believe that he was trading some IC market account broker accounts as well when he wasn't supposed to be. Again, it's a gray area that only if a broker has proof, like they did with me with the video proof of the account in the corner, then that is something that unfortunately can be, I guess, run against me, and that's what happened. Why do I suspect that it was somebody that watched my video blog? Is because this only happened 3 days after I posted the video. Just really unfortunate. I feel really bad for the clients slash student that I was trading this account for. I only traded it for 2 days, only for 2 days. Um, and it hurts me as well. The potential to trade multi-millions of dollars on that with that user is now burnt. So thank you, user or users for reporting me. And it's caused me to almost discontinue my blog, my video blog, because of it. So whoever that was, you should be proud of yourself. So I've decided to come back, and the reason for that is because there's only a couple of people out there that don't like me, uh, and it's I don't think that they should be the majority should be affected by these couple of users, unfortunately. Um, so hold on a second, guys. Yeah, I don't feel like the majority of my user base or viewership is should be hurt by these couple of users that tend to want or are out to get me, pretty much. So moving on from here, I'm going to continue trading, give you an update on what's happening. So far, I'm back on trading on the Oanda. And the plan is, as you guys have remember, me talking about AB Funders. AB Funders is a website or company that allows users to gain a credit line to use this line of credit with anything that they want, personal or business. And usually these can be pretty large amounts, up to 400,000. They were estimating that they would give me about 25 to 100K. Uh, and it's been a kind of a process. It's been the last 3 months waiting for this to pan out. The process was just about to start, and I held back. I held back on the process. Why? I spoke with Wells Fargo. I wanted to ask Wells Fargo about the fees involved in activity like this, to see if how many areas I was going to get hit with fees from getting this line of credit. So, for example, if I'm going to get $25,000 this line of credit. I want to make sure that I'm not getting hit with multiple fees, so that 25,000 actually ends up only being under 20 or less, and it makes a big difference. Um, so the fees were one thing, but the I needed to make a profit each month of 2% to pay the balance back. Now these cards that AB Funder gives you, AB Funder sets up for you that you can use as credit cards or actually available credit. They uh, they have they're zero APR for most of the time, 12 to 24 months. But the thing is with this case is that you have to pay back the balance over that over the course of those 12 months, and then after that, the interest increases. Um, so the balance required is about 2% each month. So that means that 2% of the entire balance. So that'd be 25,000. 2% of that would be roughly $500 per month that you had to pay back to that card in order to keep it in a good setting. Um, and that was a little stressful for me because I don't like having to worry about making 2% each month. It's pretty stressful. Now there's some ways to get around that, the 2% fee. One is once you pay the 2%, you can actually withdraw the 2% right back out after you pay it and go along with your business until the zero APR period is done. Um, but I don't want to take that risk of jumping through all these hoops. I am a trader. I don't want to have to worry about all these fees, about going through this and going through that, when honestly I don't have a lot of knowledge in those areas. And so I just want to worry about making profits. So I have decided, and I know that the AB funders may try to convince me otherwise or give me better opportunities, but at this point, I've decided not to go with AB funders. Um, I spoke with Wells Fargo on the phone, and in report, AB Funders is a decent company. I feel like they've been honest with me on this entire time. But the credit line that they give you is not necessarily the easiest process of getting the funds into a trading account. It can be done. I'm going to say it can be done, but it's not the easiest process. And I'm a trader or person that doesn't want to go through that process of doing that, at least at this time. Okay, so uh, what's the plan now? Plan now is when I spoke to Wells Fargo and it filled me in and on all this information. They said that I could also get a credit line from them, a zero APR credit card that would for 15 months. And so I decided to uh, pursue that. And honestly, I knew that I wasn't going to get $25,000, although they said I could get up to 100, but it depends on income, credit score, and all that kind of stuff. Wells Fargo ended up giving me a credit line with a zero APR for 15 months of $6,000. Okay, it's not a lot. It's really quite small. Uh, but the thing is that I'm okay with 6,000. I'm not in a big rush to get 25K. I've got concerts coming up as well to help with bringing uh, the bacon home that I'm playing over the United States. So I'm not too anxious to get $25,000 with all these fees and things like that on top of it. But I still recommend AB funders. I still recommend checking them out, looking into the process. If you're a U.S. resident, so if you live in the United States, look into them, check them out, and see if they're a good fit for you. At this point, they're not for me, but that may change in the future. All right, so let's get back to trading. Okay, so what we're doing here. I'm going to show you a couple of things, and we're going to go and we're going to do some live testing, show you what I'm working on, how I'm going to approach trading with the $6,000. The 6K is not a lot. I'll add it to this account, so it will be roughly about 6.7 or $7,000. Sorry, it will be just over $7,000 that you'll see in the account. It's a decent amount. It's not huge, but it's decent enough for me to start with. Um, and I'll be following you through that process of how I'm trading that 7K. I'm also going to put a post out on forexfactory.com and some other forex sites, showing people that this is happening, that I'm going to be doing live video uh, blogs or journal entries of my trading in the process through it, and how I'm doing, and so forth. And I'm also going to be complete transparency on this as well. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and we'll go through the process so you can maybe copy as well. I won't be selling any products. I won't be selling training through the videos. I won't be selling EAs through the videos because I want to be in strict regulation with these Forex forums, and I do not want to be a commercial member at forexfactory.com. That's not what my intention is. Okay, so this is a blog to help you guys and also to help myself, because a lot of times when I'm speaking here, I get questions as well. It helps my understanding and it actually improves me as a trader. So I'm hoping that it does the same to you. Hello, Scott, Greg. Good to see you here, man. Yo. All right. So what are we looking at now? Okay, so we have a couple trades in, or well, more than a couple. A few basket trades in. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 trades that are currently in, and we're looking for the market to shoot back up. There is a lot of support at this bottom area down here. There's it's a place down here that's been hit multiple times in the past couple of months. So I'm hoping that this will continue to shoot up from here. I need it to go to about this level in order to close out all these trades. All right. So those of you that are just tuning in, it's good to see that you guys are still coming in. It's been a bit of a break. I was trading an AxiTrader last week. I removed that blog because I was reported by a user, unfortunately, for trading my student's account. And it's a lesson to me, unfortunately, that I got to be careful with those things. Yes, a U.S. trader trading uh, an account outside the U.S., if it's any other broker, it's against regulation, and it's definitely a gray area, but um, they had proof because somebody sent them my video blog from last week. I've since deleted it to protect the user that was trading the user's account or my student's account. I lost that account. I'm not trading that account anymore, unfortunately, because I was reported. Um, and it just shows that there are not friendly people out there. There are people out there to get me, and can't do much about it. All right, so that'll be the last time I speak about on that subject on this blog. But it's definitely a sore spot to me. It almost caused me not to do any more video blogs anymore because of it. But I've changed my mind, and I want to continue them to help people trade and to get ideas on what to do in the future. All right, so let's show you a couple accounts. All right, so this is I'm also demo trading at Forex Broker, for FX Choice. And FX Choice, as you know, is a broker that is unregulated, but they still do allow US clients. And I'm doing some testing with them. As you can see with my EA here, it's at 50 to 1 leverage on this account. So I'm testing it on the same leverage that I get at Oanda, which is the same 50 to 1 leverage. And so I'm testing it there because, or FX Choice, because I also do a lot of testing on the Oanda account as well. But right now I just have this running in the background. And I also test on different brokers to help see how the EA does on one brokerage account compared to the other to make sure that the EA is not broker dependent. So this is my EA that you guys I've talked about before, the RMI EA, Inside Candle EA. But you can see that it's running on a different pair this time. It's running on the pound CAD in the M30 time frame. It's different. You guys know that my EA usually trades on the euro pound, and I have been experimenting with other pairs to see if there's any potential profitable patterns that I can find there with them. And the pound CAD is a really good choice. and it's also interesting that it works as well is because it's a very volatile pair. It's one of the more volatile pairs out there, along with the pound Australian dollar. And the thing is that uh, this pair works well is because it's still within the ranging confinements of the euro pound, just in a much more volatile type of movement. Uh, Now, I'll talk about this here in a second. Um, how what this looks like. Now, this is a really large basket trade here, uh, and you can see that we had a lot of orders that went in. But you can also see that these ones closed out. So there were like three trades that closed out in loss. I actually have a stop loss now that I'm implementing on the arm in my EA just in case the worst comes out. Um, so it's basically a double protection for the EA just in case things go against me. Um, and so I have it closing out once it goes 500 pips down below me. Now 500 pips is a lot, but each trade, each entry is quite low risk. And so when they close out, I'm just closing out the worst trades, the ones that are at the very top. So the top three positions closed out down here at 500 pips. Now, if it would have continued, yes, more trades would have closed out. But because it's so extreme in the other direction and that so much movement has happened in that time, that there's bound to have some kind of bounce or retracement at that point. As you can see, that happened. So 500 pips is a pretty good cutoff, and it's a good cutoff for both the euro pound and the pound CAD. So as you can see here, I did have a loss. I had about a 10 or 15% loss, and then it shot back up, and I ended up pulling out a decent profit. Now, it didn't recover completely here, the loss, but it did have some decent recovery on that, about half of the total drawdown, and then it's just about to come out into profit at that point. So right now I'm looking at the pound CAD not as a replacement of the euro pound. The euro pound is still working well. As you can see here, it's still going live. Yes, have been in drawdown for some time now, but I plan on hedging out the positions in my new EA update that's coming out. And also I'll be trading on the pound CAD on top of that as well to help also make some profit while I'm waiting for drawdown to come out on the euro pound. So they'll complement each other. So I'm not just sitting around waiting for these trades to come out with profit. Meanwhile, I'll be making money or trading on the pound CAD. So it's also bringing in some profit while we're in drawdown. The pound CAD is not a perfect hedge, and the hedging is something that I'm still working on. And as you can see, I have an order in at mql5.com with a programmer that I'm using, and I started this a while back, over a week ago, and unfortunately, yeah, I was back on the 5th. So it's been 10 days, and unfortunately, this guy is pretty fast, but he had a family member that passed away recently, so I've had to wait. Now, the thing with this order is that it's basically a hedge type of modification for my EA. So once when we have trades in on the euro pound, it's going to put a hedge trade in on the pound CAD. Again, not a perfect hedge because the pound CAD is a lot more volatile than the euro pound. But what we're doing is we're going to be using half the lot size on the pound CAD as the hedge, so the hedge is much safer. This might not make a lot of sense to you at this point. I'm hoping it's something that we can talk about more as the blogs go on and once the EA modification is done. But what you're seeing here, this is not the hedge. This is actually the EA RMI EA trading on the pound CAD on the M30 time frame. Now you can see that as far as I can go back, I actually did the test on it back in 1970, but it didn't start doing pulling results until 2007 8/24. Now that's August 24th, 2007. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of history that I can pull from this pair. But 2007 on to 2017 to current date, or close to the current date, is good enough to me. And you can see the equity curve on this. So this was I started with an account of 6,000, which is what I'm planning to do. and was turned into 52,000 by the end of the test. So we're looking at about roughly 10 years. Now this is on lower risk. You can see what's the drawdown. The drawdown is actually quite low at 25%. 25%, that's the relative drawdown, and the maximum is 22%. That's actually pretty low considering the profit. Now, it shows that I have a lot more space to work with this EA. That means I can push the risk higher if I wanted to. So if I wanted to keep my drawdown under 40%, then I could consider maybe doubling the risk. And what that turns out to be is potentially higher than double the profit as well. So this 52,000 may be over 100 at that point. And so it's something that I'm definitely looking into. So the question is, am I going to run the pound CAD exclusively for my EA or on my $6,000 account once we get that, or am I going to run the euro pound and the pound CAD at half risk? So therefore, I'm having my risk on both pairs. And making the same amount of profit that I would be just on the euro pound standard risk. So it's something that I'm definitely looking into, and I'm pretty excited about the possibilities because it literally could half my drawdown and increase my keeping my profit the same. So things that I'm working with money management to increase uh, increase my balance or increase my profits over the longer term while keeping things safe. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing, and I'm also going to talk about this account first. Actually, this is a test account that I'm using my scalping EA on, and this is a broker. This broker is TradeWise, TradeWise FX. Now, this is a fairly new broker, not really known yet. But they are accepting U.S. clients, and they are accepting at a 500 to 1 leverage, which is pretty good, and the reason why I'm looking into them for scalping. The thing that scares me about this trader is that because they are unregulated, it means that it's a lot easier for them to steal my money if I were to deposit and create an account here. And so I'm kind of trying to see if I want to play my cards at that broker and testing my scalping robot with them. And I can only scalp this way with a broker that's 400 to 500 leverage. And so I'm testing this out. So far, my scalping has been going very, very well with a $3,000 profit in the last a week or so. Okay, so the next thing to do is I'm going to do a test. And this is going to be interesting for you guys because what we're going to do is I'm going to go through my strategy in the tester. I'm going to show you how you can test your strategy over the longer term. So those of you that have a good strategy or think that you have a good strategy right now, but you don't know how it's going to hold up over time, that's a really important thing to know because you can see here, I know that the strategy has currently held up very well over time on the M30 time frame and the 1 hour on the euro pound and on the pound CAD. Now, the particular reason for that is because of the nature of my system and my entries and how it captures the ranges on these pairs in a pretty good fashion. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to prove to you that you can also trade this manually as well if you wanted to. So how we're going to do that is we're going to just select a random EA. We're going to select the time frame, and we're going to select a random date. Okay, random date. Just so you know, I'm not picking a great year for this, so I could show you how good of a trader I am. No, that's not what I'm trying to do here. So we're going to just pick 2011. Let's see, July. Sure. Let's try it. And 21st. All right. And we're going to see what the price looks like, and I'm going to slow it down just to make sure that we can see what's happening. Okay. So we're going to do my strategy, which is the RMI inside candle. But actually, I don't even need the RMI. I'm just going to use the inside candle and look at the price. Now, what I typically do is as this is going, I'm going to take the scrolls off. I'm going to look at the price and see where the trend is. See if it's up or down. And you can see right now it's technically going down. Now where's my my marker? Okay, so I'm gonna be looking at the price to see where it is in relation to the swing levels. Okay, and I'm gonna take some trades based on that, and we're gonna see how they play out. Right? And I'm going to pause the tester. So this allows you to see that I can still trade even without seeing the future. Um, and you can also see how the system works out that way as well. Okay, so we're going to be so keep in mind that I'm gonna pause the tester to see if there's any potential trades that are coming up. So I'm currently looking for a sell opportunity. Now this is a pretty good sell opportunity here. This engulfing candle. And you also see that I'm a little bit late. It actually pushed down right after that. It's something that I would consider, but it's not a great setup because this candle didn't break the high of the previous two candles. So it wasn't a great engulfing setup for me. Let's see how it plays out. Okay, so it wasn't a good setup, and it didn't really work out as well. Okay, so this is another decent setup as well. And I'm actually going to take this one. And the reason why I'm going to take it is let me get this scrolling back on. The reason why I'm going to take this is because, one, it's near the whole number. It's at 54,920. Okay, whole numbers I like to trade out because there's increased volatility at those levels. And two, you can see that the candles are starting to slow down. The continued push back up, and we have multiple hints. One, the hammer candle here, the bearish hammer candle. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you guys can see better. Okay, and then you can see again the push up and then the slowdown of the next two candles with the unsure market. All right, and then this candle. This is the one I'm looking at. This is an engulfing candle. It didn't break the high of the highest high that would happen a few hours before that, but it did break the high of the previous three candles just before that, just by a little bit. And it also closed below the open, and it was a pretty decent engulfing candle in relationship to the small price action just before that. So I'm going to mark that, and we're going to see how this plays out. Again, I don't know we're on what date we're on. It's the 22nd of July, so I don't know what's gonna happen here. So we're gonna continue the test and see what happens. Now it could either go up against me, and then we'll play it out and see how we can correctly make this trade into a profitable one. Okay, so it's looking like it's heading back down from our entry point. Okay, so it was right before the close of the weekend. As you can see, there was a gap from here to here. Now, let me just double check to see if it's before the weekend. Yeah. So what you typically do in this situation, you don't want to hold trades over the weekend, or if you just have one trade in. So this one trade that we entered, I wouldn't want to hold this trade over the weekend, especially if it's in good profit already. So let's see what that profit is. So it's at 54 pips profit. That's decent. I would close out the trade before the close of the weekend. But let's see how it plays out anyway, to see if by accident you missed taking the trade out over the weekend. Okay, so it's still going up against us, but we wouldn't have entered another trade yet at this point. Okay, so here we would, if we were to keep this trade going, and the reason why is because this is an inside. There's another inside candle at this point. So I would take this as another entry on the way back down. So let's continue the test and see what happens. All right, so easy take profit level. Entry first entry. So entry 1, entry 2, profit level. What do we come out with in pips? Let's see. We came out with 25 pips profit. All right. So we're going to close out these trades, and we're going to move on to the next opportunity. Now the thing is I play it by ear, guys. I want to see, so you can see I closed out my trade early. I closed it out way early, and it continued to go back down. I didn't know it was going to go back down. I continued to go down, and so that's why I like doing this kind of testing, is because it doesn't. Uh, it's not. It's a little too easy to play hindsight when you're watching the charts in a system that you're trading. Because if I saw this after the fact or now, I would have said, "Oh man, too bad I didn't hold on to my position." Right. Um, so I'm going to answer some questions real quickly. Hello, don't do it. Is that a pivot point strategy? Pivot point strategy. Scott Greg, it's not really. It's let me show you what I'm using so you guys can figure it out. So I can give you some hints. Like I said, transparencies. I'm fine sharing everything that I'm doing. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know why I can't find my indicators. I know that's why you guys like to watch streams, is try to get strategies and ideas. So I use typically my EA uses an RMI indicator, but for me, when I'm just trading it manually, I actually just use the candlesticks in the price action to see what I'm looking at. And then typically the EA will look for uh, the price to be above the 70, and it will look for an inside candle. So this would have been an entry for the EA on the way down, and it would have been really good. The EA is not always perfect. It will enter places that I don't, and it's just because it's following a algorithm um, or a specific system. Now there's discretion involved when I'm trading, and that's why I'm able to make adjustments. Now the EA is better in some terms than I am, but it also is not as good. So there's pluses and minuses to trading each one. Um, so let's continue seeing where a good place to buy the market is. Now, what I'm looking at is a couple of things. I'm looking at where the last swing level was, and the last swing level was here. Okay, and there's also a bounce there, and it shot up from there, right? There's also the swing level up here, and then there's one here. All right. So I'm looking for the next possible place. The market will bounce from there. I'm looking for a buy trade or a long position. I don't see anything down here yet. I see a hold number approaching. See the 54,100? So our hold number is approaching, but not good for a position yet because I don't see any inside candle setup. Now I want it to be lower. I want it to be lower than the last swing levels. I want the price to go below and then have an inside candle set up on the buy side. I want there to be, if you will, space. That's a good way to say it, an easy way to understand it. Space from the previous time that the market hit that level. As you can see, last time it was hit was here, which was quite a long time ago. So we're going to continue to play this out and see if we get an opportunity, either a inside candle or a bullish engulfing. Okay. Oh, right there. Sorry, I couldn't pause it fast enough. So we had a inside candle set up here. And this is, again, right near the hold number. And it's a pretty good setup. Let me delete the markings and also the previous level. Okay, so we don't know if this is going to bounce from here. But right at this point, right now in the market, it's moved up a couple of pips, a few pips. So we're going to unpause and see what happens with this trade. And where are we going to exit? Where's a good place to exit? Well, we can decide what's coming up. And we'll just base it off of price action as well. A lot of times I like to have a set pip amount. We're going to do a 50 pips profit on this trade, on this particular trade. So if it moves 50 pips up, we'll hit profit, and then we'll exit the trade. Okay, so I hit 25. Not good enough. Okay, so that may be closer now. Okay, 39. Okay. Now, I believe it did now. We want it to hit about 50, so just barely under. We want it to hit about 53, 54 pips, at least based on my broker at Oanda. Whoa, okay, there we go. Okay, so we had our take profit 50 pips set, and that was hit in this particular trade. Okay, so again, one trade that ended up in profit right off the bat. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next opportunity. Now, this isn't a great place for a sell or a short position, at least not yet, because I want there to be more space in between. It's a little bit messy. There wasn't a lot of movement up yet. It wasn't huge. I want this place up here to be broken before entering on the sell side. Okay, so we're gonna see how that plays out. We're gonna zoom out just a bit so you can see the full picture. Okay, so we did have some potential trades in here in this area, but it's still, again, I like to see this area broken before entering on the downside. And you can see that this was my idea is actually working here, at least at this point. It went up, and so far hasn't gone down a whole lot. But we're looking for these two levels to be broken before entering on any trades. Now, it means that we have to wait a little bit, but it means that we're waiting for a good opportunity. Now, since price is changing, I got to try to pause this. Um, I'm now looking for this level to be broken and this one to be broken in order for me to take a position. So let's continue to price again. Okay, this is pretty dang close, and I would actually take this trade. Because I mean the candle looks a little bit weird, but it didn't break that level, and price did barely break it. Okay, so it did technically break it, but the candle I'm looking at is this bearish one here. Now this bearish candle is a pretty good indication, and now it didn't quite break the high, but it was pretty close. It was a full close. There was a wick on the top. There's also previous wicks in that same area on other candles. A good place for an entry. Okay, so we're gonna mark it. We're going to mark it right after, so there was a gap in the trade on the candle after. So let's continue. Let's see if it goes down or if it goes up. So it looks like it's playing at that same level still, as you can see. That same level it's kind of just lingering. We'll see if it actually breaks down on the downside. It looks like it is. Is it going to do enough? Okay, so we're going to have a take profit of 50 pips set on this trade. Okay. So it's right about down there. That's pretty close. Okay. And we'll see if it gets hit. Okay. So this was enough. It was four pips, so this would have been about perfect. Our trade would have closed out pretty close to that. It's about 54 pips. I'm going to hold on to it because there's potential that the person that entered, or when I entered this trade, that there was some slippage here because of the price jump or the gap. There's also the spread there. I'm not sure, but it's likely that this would have closed out at 54 pips, considering that my spread is anywhere from 2 to 3 pips on the pound CAD. So I'm actually going to close this one out and call it a winner in this case. So 50 pips profit. Now let's see if how it would have played out if we continue to hold on to it. Well, it doesn't look like it's great. It's going back up to the high up here, and it looks like it just surpassed it. All right, so now we're looking for, another potential trade. Now you guys know I like inside candles, right? Well, I also like candles like this. This is a really good setup. New high, shoot up, broke the previous high. We are up in new territory, and we're going to short this position. Now, well, it's actually enters here. So we're going to short there. And we're going to see how this plays out. Now there's some momentum going up here, so we'll see if this actually holds enough. All right. Oh, geez. Okay. So it doesn't matter if I can't stop this fast enough, because I would still set it at a 50 pips take profit, which you can see if we use our cursor. We'll see that we need about 54 pips just to be safe, and it definitely hit that level. So again, another really good trade right after that. Okay, so we almost have another setup happening here, and let's see once. Oh, okay. Oh, gosh, it's so hard to close it out. Um, all right, so those of you that think this is a demo account, it is a demo account, but my live trading account is currently occupied, so I'm testing on FX Choice. Okay, so we have a inside candle here. Okay, inside candle on the bullish side. Now, is that a good enough position to take? Now, it did hit this level here, and because it shot up, we have the swing levels that I'm marking right now. All right, so this is a level. Now, this is tricky because it didn't quite break this level, but it did hit it. So this one here is questionable. Would I take it? Well, how I would decide to take that. I would scroll out a little bit, and I would want to see if this is an uptrend, and I would see that overall it is an uptrend. This level was broken just barely here. We have new higher lows at this point. Okay, so at this point I would say this is a pretty good trade to take, because it's currently with the bigger move, which is, well, technically people like to call it the trend. So I'm going to mark that as an entry, and this will be our last entry for today. I don't want to go too long, and I'm not going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about the plan and what's coming up next in the coming weeks, okay? And the schedule that I'm going to be doing as well. All right, so let's see how this last trade works out. Okay, again, 50 pips. 38. Whoa, okay. So I guess we caught right before the news, or something came out at that point, and it moved up 200 pips at that point. So you can see that we were on the right side. I guess if news was coming out only a few hours later, you might have closed it out before that happened. Sometimes these things can happen unexpectedly, and you might be in a trade. So in this case, where would you put some other entries? Well, I would put some pending orders in on this trade just in case it did go against me before I knew that it hit profit. Put a pending order in at the whole number, just below that. So that would be about, just in case it did go against me, it would be about a 60 pips or so. And then a pending order would be placed. That is I only do that when I'm sleeping, just to be careful, just to make sure that I'm still entering the market at good levels. All right, so as you can see there, guys, I just gave you examples on, what was it, four or five trades that I would take. Most of them hit profit right off the bat on one trade. We didn't even have to basket. And I'll be doing that over the course of these streams, showing you when and how to take positions. And we talk about not just the candlesticks, but price action before the candlesticks as well is really important. So we can actually see if price is slowing down. For example, like here, what we picked out here, the inside, the bearish engulfing candle. Now, why this was a decent position was because we see the previous candles in the wicks on these previous candles showing that price is letting up on the long side, and it might start to make a curve back down, and you can see it did that. So it's wise for us to look at price and read it in a way that that makes sense. Now, a lot of times people do this. They they have a strategy. That's actually not one. Okay, here we go. I can't see the price in this, guys. I mean, I really hope that you don't have strategies like this. That it's so hard to see where the price is going. It's like the candlesticks are hidden. You're relying only on the EMAs and what's happening here and also here, and this is the volume, which is important and good. But all these indicators are following the candlesticks in the how price is moving. So candlesticks are going to show you the very first signal before all these other indicators follow. So basically, what I'm saying is that you'll enter trades later than I would if you have a system like this. No problem, Scott. Greg, thanks for the compliment. Um, I'm hoping to be back. Speaking of this particular session today, I'm going to be back on Mondays and Fridays. I think I'm going to try to do. I'm unsure if I'm going to do 9 or 9:30 at this point. I think I'll do. I think I'll try for 9, unless you hear otherwise. So my next episode will be on Monday. Actually, I might do one on Friday, depending on how things come out. Yeah, why don't I do another one on Friday? So that's another couple days from now. And that one will be shorter. And I'll probably just do about 30 minutes, and we'll talk about current positions. And if nothing has happened, I might just cut it even shorter than that. Just do a quick update of 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, plan on Mondays and Fridays. So I want to do the first of the week and the last of the week because uh, to show you what the plan is and how I'm going to approach the new week. And insight into what may happen, all that kind of stuff. And then Friday, just to kind of a synopsis of the trades that have happened, my EA, what's happening there, and the current trades that are going in. And I hope to blow this up in a bigger way, get some discussions going, and I'm going to start putting comments on some of the forums to, I guess, in a way, advertise the stream. Again, won't be selling anything. Won't be selling training, won't be selling EAs. And this is just for education and to show people how to potentially profit in the market. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. And we'll pick things up for a brief session on Friday to show what's happened for the week, to see if we're still in our trades here. And I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and have a good Wednesday.